get right to it. Action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
Manja, that Ange.
And this is the Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. You know what to do. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk page. And thank you for making us a part of you. But let's get right to it. Angela, what are we talking about today? What's today's film?
We are talking about one of the newest renditions of a video game turned film.
Yeah.
So we are talking about Until Dawn. So a group of friends trapped in a time loop where mysterious foes are chasing and killing them in gruesome ways must survive until dawn to escape it. Mm-hmm. So Ryan, I know going into this, we have not played this film, right? Or played this video game.
Yeah, haven't played the video game.
We're solely coming from the film side of this. I know we were pretty pumped from seeing the trailer. It looked really creepy, really cool. What were your first thoughts coming out of this after seeing it?
I want to say, there's scary moments in this movie. There's a great, good, scary moments in this film. But I got to say, it's very generic. I would say the jump scares, it's very generic. We kind of already, I mean, for me, it was very, very predictable. I could tell things from right away, especially from the movie's perspective, right? And so I know this drifts away a little bit, which I saw reviewers talk about that. It drifts away from the original gameplay. That's fine. When it comes to games to movies and everything, they really tend to, same thing with the books, they really tend to like run the same template, but then they change it up. So yeah, that's fine. I love that. And so, same thing with comic movies. They're not going to be script for script. They're going to be page by page, which is totally fine. I'm not opposed against that. I'm not, whatever. So, but I gotta say though, man, I mean, as far as like being in the genre it's at horror thriller, and I feel like that it's just very generic. If comparing it to the film of genre and everything, I felt like I was just like, okay, this is cool and everything. The story was not bad, I would say, but
interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting concept, but I feel like the first and second act were really good. Then the third act, as far as story goes, it just went to shit. You didn't really explain it again. Coming not a film goer, a movie goer, not ever played Until Dawn game, was just like at the ending was just like, we're not gonna get those things. So like I get what Sony was trying to do, pay homage to the gamers and the gameplay people who played the game. But at the end of the day, you have to accommodate both audiences, and I feel like that they really did not in that case. But anyways, Angela, what did you think of this movie?
I agree. It could have been a little bit less predictable.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not just this game or this movie. I feel like horror movies in general have kind of gotten to that rut where it's the same jump scares, the same predictability. You can kind of guess where it's going. So it's just, I feel like in general, most horror films nowadays are kind of like that. We've seen so many of it done so many times. I would say it's predictable, but I do like a lot of the scare moments in this one. Are pretty creepy. And I will say, whoever did the makeup, fantastic. Like those Wendigo's creatures, whatever you call them, were scary as heck. Props to that, I will say. I do agree. It did kind of, it had a pretty good momentum, like you say, first and second act. It kind of lulled a little bit right before, I guess, the climax or like the ending a little bit. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid film. Again, I cannot speak to maybe things that are in the film that are in the game. So like maybe a lot of that stuff that was really cool and you could say paid homage went over our heads because again we haven't played the game.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I do want to say, the Dr. Hill character in the game is actually the voice actor is the same person plays this in live action. I thought that was pretty cool homage to that, and I thought that was PlayStation, Sony, same thing. And so I first and foremost I do want to say that I love it when movie studios tend to do that. They keep that same voice actor into live action, because I never played the game. Again, never played the game, but I do want to say he brought that creepiness to him. He really did, and he really exceeded. I thought I never played the game, so I know people are gonna they're probably dogging on us right now, saying the story just went over your head, and I get it. I get that point of view and everything, but coming from the film side and everything, I feel like you could have given us a little bit more information as far as story a little bit.
But I think that's also the point too, because I feel like in the game you're just kind of thrown into this world, and you just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah.
As you die, I guess.
Yeah.
If you will. Again, I'm only guesstimating, but I assume that's it. So I feel like they kind of brought that aspect of like the audience is learning with these characters, if you will. So that doesn't bother me too much. For me, it's more so like I really liked a lot of the inventive ways that I guess the characters died and kept coming back to life.
Yeah.
I do think, and I really appreciated that we didn't see all the deaths on live screen. I think like they had done the recap on the phone. I think that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
How it like skipped a little bit. So we got to see like a first couple days, and then it just skipped to like bam. But again, I really, really enjoyed some moments in here. Were they all hitters? No, of course not. But I think overall it was a solid film for me. I walked away pretty pleasantly surprised. I thought a lot of the stuff was pretty cool though. I will say again, the makeup, the character design, those are pretty cool.
For me also, what last thing I do want to say that just that I feel like that we really didn't, I hate to say this, but we really didn't care about the characters because there was no lack of depth in them. I feel like that you just kind of was teasing at that when they had the connection between the sisters, and then it just dropped, and I was just like, okay, I wanted to have that connection again, coming from the film aspect of it. I have to say that a lot because people are gonna be like, well, you don't know the connection. Okay, I understand that, but this is still a movie, and this is still a film, and I feel like that they didn't really give us enough emotions to care about the characters, so to speak.
I mean, I care about the five. I know you're talking about the connection. I feel like it was more like we as an audience saw what happened in the opening, so you kind of don't expect that outcome, if you will, without trying to spoil it. That's why I was like, okay, all right. It's these 5 characters that we're focusing on. Okay, so
I guess it's different. It's difficult to care about their fates. I'll say that. I really is because I
really liked the main girl, Clover.
Yeah.
And I think she was really cool. I cared somewhat about all the characters. There's some I cared less than others.
Yeah, for sure.
But of course, I mean, there's not any movie.
Yeah.
But I did care about them. I get what you're saying, though. There wasn't enough time, maybe story development, to actually care deeply about them, like where you're emotionally affected if something were to happen. I get it. So I think, again, it just, maybe that's the point of the game. Maybe we're just missing things, missing some context there. But overall,
I saw people saying that there's way more better jump scares and way more better horror elements in the game when I saw reviews. And so in the game versus the movie again, so
what those jump scares in the games are. Maybe we should buy this game and find ourselves.
Right. This is actually directed. One of the things I do want to also note here is actually directed by the Lights Out director. Remember that one movie where
I did not see that
remember
movie.
that movie? That movie was
I saw the trailer for that.
I know.
And the reason why, and I'll tell you a short story, is because at my parents' house, way before we were married, when that movie came out, when I would go to and from work early in the morning, I would be upstairs, light in the hall, turn it off, go all the way downstairs, and then there's a switch right there, right? So the Lights Out movie really hit home in the fact of like how that movie played out and how the character moved, if you will. I could not watch that movie. I refused to watch that movie. So you saw it without me. I still, to this day, refuse to watch it. I know we're no longer at my parents' house, but that is why I don't watch that. So there's certain things. Again, I know what you're trying to say, that the jump scares could have been better. They're predictable. I am very curious now to see how the game is in terms of these scares, in terms of these horror elements. These creatures, if you will, that are roaming and killing you. I really want to know more about that. So I think that does, if anything you can take away from the film, that is successful, and I think it would bring up more of an audience to buy and play the game, which I think is the point. For sure.
And then this game reached 10 years this year as well, so that was pretty cool. It came out in 2015, and directed by David F. Sandberg. So he's a pretty good director. I mean, when it comes to staying that horror genre, because he really does a lot of films like that. So the jump scares were, again, they were predictable, yes, but at the same time though, I'm just like, okay, I get it, and it's meant for the scares. That's what they really wanted you to get entertained by, the scares, and I still appreciate that. But still, I'm just like, I want character development, and we really
Yeah, I
didn't
get
get
it.
too much of it. But
Maybe there's a chance. I'm curious if they ever would make another one. I don't know if there's more than one
Yeah.
game. I don't know if they would make another one to continue the story. Let's
maybe.
see. Maybe.
All right, we'll see. All right, rating 1 out of 10. 10 being the highest. Angela, when do you give this rating?
I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. I will say that.
Yeah.
As much as some of the scenes were cool, like the cheek thing.
Yeah.
I think you get that from the trailer.
But we didn't really get. That's the thing too. We didn't really see that. We saw just small clips of it.
That would have been a cool scene to expand on.
How, where,
like
they,
also the witch scene. I think that's one of the first early ones when
Yeah.
they're in that loop. That was cool. The clown. Yeah. Overall, I think some scares are pretty cool. I would give it a solid 5.5 because as much as I wanted it to be a little bit better, it was still a pretty solid film. It kept me entertained, you know. And I would say the gore scenes, they were done pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a solid 5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a about average film goer and everything. And yeah, I enjoyed it for what it is. At the same time though, but it still lacked for me. It lacked emotions and every emotional depth. But hey, not every movie has to be like that. And it really focuses a lot mainly on the scares. I understand why, because that was the big things probably Sony took out of their 2015 game when it got released. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. You know what to do, guys. Like, share, subscribe. And thank you for making us a part of your day. Have a good one, guys. See you at the movies. Latest.
Bye.